The majority of our life is lived in liminal space.
And there's this in-between space, this liminal space.
This liminality that reveals possibility.
I think we're in a liminal moment, but also in a place of transformation.
I have great affection for the church and a troubled relationship with it.
Just to be alive in time means that we're on the threshold of the future.
That can't be the gospel, because God said to love our neighbors.
We don't know what the future looks like. We have to work it out together.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really bothers me that I've heard this excuse before when with well-meaning people, like, well, war's been happening since time began. That doesn't make it right.
No.
And those people that were killed, I mean, they had families. I don't know them. They're in a different culture. I don't even know the names. I mean, I could look up the names. They were people, and it's like we're so connected via smart technology, but so disconnected from the impact that I would argue our political leadership has on the world around. We focus on how it impacts us, and certainly we're feeling that right now. But the impacts that happen with, folks in other countries, they're people just like you and me. Mm-hmm. They have families, moms, dads, uncles, aunts, kids. They want the same, human beings want the same thing. And this idea that we can somehow separate them as others because they don't speak our language, or they look different, or they worship they pray to a different God. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. They're human beings. So, I wish everyday people, and I'm not stereotyping, and I don't think that I focus on it more than anybody else maybe, but we need to talk about those things, and we need to identify with it. And to your point, in the pulpit, when you see injustice and oppression, I don't know who else's job it is other than a pastor to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm I don't know your friend, but I'm gonna completely disagree with his opinion.
Well, my response to the stay in your lane, Pastor, was, look, I'm not a politician. I don't know economic theories. I don't know, especially global economy. I don't know, whether or not tariffs work or they're good. I got opinions on stuff, but that's not my lane. But when it comes to theology or ethics or values, that's my lane. I will, Christian nationalism is the most damaging theology to hit. It's not new. I mean, in 387 AD, the Roman government decided to co-opt the Christian church. It's there's nationalism right there. It's not new. It's just not what Jesus taught or the early church at all. But I think it's so damaging, especially in a modern day context, when that unified deistic front that America put up against the Cold War communist Russia of the 80s and even back in the 50s when we adopted "In God We Trust" as our motto. The cracks in that are showing so much now, with people who were put on pedestals as these are our standards, these are our models. They're turning out to be, horrible human beings.
Monsters.
Yeah. But they're the ones that, even growing up, I look at the people who taught my Sunday school as a kid, and where they are now. Some of them at least. And it's one, I won't go there, but they didn't turn out to be the sources of moral authority that I thought they were.
Yeah.
It's just because you have a position doesn't mean that you than have the character to hold the position and teach things. And in churches, we're just looking for warm bodies to fill spots. And it's like, I get it. You got to have the volunteer base and all that kind of stuff. I understand. But there's something really inauthentic about the deistic nationalist front that we put on. That is just, I don't think it's working really well anymore. And it's like you see the exodus of young people from the church. It's like they didn't grow up with, they started growing up when the people started falling, like, your Ted Haggards, your Mark Driscolls, your, and now we've got new ones coming out seems like every week.
Right.
But that's the Christianity that they're exposed to, is look at the cracks in the facade. Was it all a ruse? Is there anything authentic there? And to try and go backwards and reestablish a kind of faith that embraces a nationalist front, it's like, I just don't think that has the power to transform human hearts and society into something that's good for everybody. So that's my lane. That's what I talk about.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't help, the timing is great that you say that. Now, what we celebrated our Day of Independence on Friday, and isn't that what we escaped? A theocracy.
Yes.
An authoritarian theocracy. Yet I feel like we want to recreate that somehow.
I think Christians do.
Yeah, but and maybe again, it's like what you were saying. It's okay if you say something that I agree with, and it's my team, it's my side. But man, things can turn pretty quick, So,
and they do.
Yeah, history tells us it usually goes bad.
Yeah,
it doesn't usually turn out well. So
yeah, and I think Christians hold on to government when they're in charge of it, and then they declare government the enemy when they're not in charge of it. And that flip-flopping back and forth has been happening since FDR. And it's just, I don't know, it's like we're caught on repeat, It's just like,
yeah,
each cycle around brings us deeper into something that's anxiety inducing and wirks me up in the middle of a Saturday night sleep. It causes me to not go back to sleep.
Yeah, apparently skyrocketing national debt's not a problem anymore.
All of a sudden.
It will be if there's a different person and different party in office in a few years. But right now, it's no problem.
And I honestly, I have the commentaries that I listen to that I trust. And I know other people have commentaries they listen to that they trust. And they're in opposition to one another. But I just really, I have a hard time understanding the vision of the kind of society that the GOP wants to create right now. I don't see it. I don't get it. I don't understand why people are excited about it. Like, what I see is violence and cruelty and celebrations of that and dominance, and I was just like, I don't understand. And I'm saying this honestly. I don't understand the vision of that and why Christians would celebrate that. And that's something that confuses me until I look at the actual seeds of fundamentalist and evangelical theology and social action. It's like those are planted inside of it. It's a part of it. And you don't really get to see it blatantly all the time. But once you start recognizing it, it's hard to unrecognize it. You can't, once you see it, you can't unsee it, kind of a thing. And then you have to untangle faith from the political tentacles that have its death grab wrapped around it. But I think if we don't figure out how to unravel faith from the conservative politics, I think we're going to spiral into, I think the church will just really fizzle out in a really bad way for a long time. And so I know they're trying to revive things and go back to something that they thought was amazing in the 50s when they had a unified deistic front against communism. But with interacting with young people, a lot of young people. I know young men are starting to like travel over to conservative spaces right now, but overall, young people are just like, I don't think this is for me. I don't think this is for me, and they see it mostly in what the kind of the moral majority right is presenting as this is how we operate our faith, especially in these political spaces. And I think so many of the young people that I interact with, and you read the polls and it's like everything's on a decline. I don't think this is the thing that's going to save it. And frankly, it's like, well, if this is what it is, I don't think we should save it. Mm-hmm. I think we should let it fizzle and build something authentic on the other side. That's me being honest as a pastor.
I think it was the MAGA politicians the first time around came up with, was it Republican? It was the Rhino, wasn't
Republican
it?
in name only? Yeah.
Could we do the
Chino?
Christians in name only? Oh, that's going to trigger some.
Oh
man. Boy.
Look what we're doing.
Oh boy.
So we got a second song that we're going to play.
Yeah.
We've been playing this one like since we started.
It's like our Whiskey River.
Yeah. Like
although we didn't write it.
We did not write this one.
Willie Nelson wrote Whiskey River. I mean, I'm assume he did.
Maybe.
I may be wrong.
But this is like, hey, we need a song that we can just kind of jam on and get into the groove. And it's like, oh, we're going to play this one. We always play this one.
It's like our warm-up tune.
Yeah. It gets us in the groove. I was looking for my capo. It's on the end of my... I am old. It was here. But this is... we started playing this song back in 2020.
Yeah.
And I'm just really... I don't know when Ray... How do you pronounce his last name? LaMontagne? I don't know when he wrote this song, but the way that it keeps getting more and more and more relevant is just like, yikes. This is like...
I have to... I don't mean to derail our conversation, but I'm still in the back of my head. I like how you say Isle Royale. So it might be Ray... It might be Ray LaMontagne. Montagne.
How you say it? How are you supposed to say it?
No, I don't know, but I like you say it. You say it how... What was the... it sounds like the Royale with cheese.
I was actually just thinking that when you were the Royale with cheese.
I can't think of the Samuel. Yeah,
that was from
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, sorry.
I saw that once, and that was enough for me.
Ray LaMontagne.
LaMontagne. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking, like, again, two of my, and the third song we do is another of my favorite songwriters. But yeah, I found out about this guy through a different artist that I like to listen to, Susan Tedeschi, one of my favorite blues singers and players, and one of my favorite bands right now, the Tedeschi Trucks Band. And I went to see her, this was years ago, and she did a cover of one of his songs, Shelter, which is a great tune. We need to add it to the Tom Ropel set list.
All right.
And I was like, oh, it was kind of one of those by association. Well, if Susan Tedeschi likes this guy,
then I can too.
I need to start. This is before, it was a little bit more difficult to find music before Spotify and Apple Music. But this tune always struck me as pretty poignant. It's depressing.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of asking like, hey, this world's messed up. What's going on? It doesn't really have an answer.
Yeah. But to me, it's like a modern day psalm because like the psalms ask the questions and they don't provide the answers, and they just kind of look up to heaven and like shake their fist at the sky. Like, why is it this way? And then leaves you like a good 1/3 to half of the psalms are that. And they're not just happy, rosy whatevers. And like this song is like one of those modern ones that just, it kind of captures that lament aspect that I don't think in church we understand what that is much, because we don't sing lament songs, but half of the psalms are that. And this one to me, this one reveals. People talk about praying to different gods and all that, and I think if we can reduce the faith of humans to one thing, and that's for all of human history, I think the biggest faith that we have is a faith in violence to get things done. Like if you look at, because you mentioned like we've been going to war forever and ever and ever, and it's like it's because we have faith that it's going to work.
Well, we're real good at it. Well, I don't want to say. I mean, I don't think we're real good at the long game, but we're real good at blowing stuff up.
We are, and we have faith that it's going to make things right, and it never does.
No,
violence can hold back evil. In the case of World War II, it can hold back a great evil, but violence can never fix society.
Right.
And I think for the most part, a lot of people have a faith in violence that it's going to fix things. If we go to war and we blow them up, then it'll fix everything and we'll be fine. And it's like, we've been trying that. I think the first recorded war was like 5,000 BC. So we've been trying that for close to 8,000 years, and it hasn't worked yet. And we keep going back to it, and it never works. And we have this faith in violence. And then you put a religious robe on that, and you get Christian nationalism. It's a faith in violence will set things right. And the really interesting part, one of my favorite theologians, his name's Kenneth Tanner. He's been on the show before, but he says no one else has to die to set things right. That's the heart of the Christian faith. And I'm like, geez.
Wow.
No one else needs to die to make things right. Like, that's the heart of the Christian message. But we just
that needs to be a song.
Okay, you're on that. I'll let him know.
I love that
you're on it.
That's really good. Yeah, that's true.
So this song is called "How Come."
How come? Yeah,
and it's how come I can't tell the free world from a living hell. And it's like we play this song on stages and people are like jamming along. I don't think they're listening to what we're saying.
Yeah, we can get this is a fun one to do with drums. So we'll do what we can with a couple of acoustics. If Ray can do it, we can do it. Yeah. Well, let's cover this one and we'll figure out where we go from here. Okay.
All right.
Street now, faces are long and grim, souls are feeling heavy and faith is growing thin. Fears that get stronger, you can see them on the rise. Hopelessness got some bite, you can see it in their eyes. Say, how come? Everybody on a shoestring, everybody in a hole, everybody on an old jet plane, crossing their fingers and toes. Government man spin his politic till he got you pinned. Everybody trying to reach out to each other, but they don't know where to begin. I say, how come I can't tell the free world from the living hell? Now how come? How come all I see is a child of God, misery? How come? Pistol now as prophet, the bullet some kind of Lord and King. Pain is the only promise that the so-called Savior's gonna bring. Love can be a lie, justice can be a thief. Freedom can be an empty cup from which everybody wanna drink. I say, how come I can't tell the free world from the living hell? Now how come? How come all I see is a child of God misery? How come? It's just a man, killing man, killing man, killing man, killing man. I don't understand. It's just a man, killing man, killing man, killing man, killing man. I don't understand. Just a man, killing man, killing man, killing man, killing man. I don't understand. Oh, just a man, killing man, killing man, killing man, killing man. I don't understand. Oh, right, the hit. I totally forgot to put my
Your harmonica.
my harmonica in my foot.
Oh, and your toe jingler.
I put it over here. Sorry. We'll do that for the next tune.
Yeah, the toe jingler. Where's your toe jingler?
That's right here.
You got to show everyone the toe jingler. It goes right on your toes.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on right now so I don't forget.
Oh, you can't forget the toe jingler. And now every time you tap your foot to the beat, you got a little bit of a,
Yeah. You know, that song, I think my favorite, I guess it would be the third verse, the pistol now is prophet. It ties in exactly. Pistol now is prophet, bullet some kind of Lord and King, but pain is the only promise the so-called Savior is going to bring. And then the Chino, I like Chino. Love can be a liar. Justice can be a thief. Freedom can be an empty cup from which everybody want to drink. Yeah, I think that third verse is just like genius.
Yeah.
Genius.
I think like our faith in violence it has a new expression like every revolution. There's a zeitgeist that captures the hearts of the people. There's a zeitgeist. And I think when Christians cannot identify the zeitgeist, they get caught up in it, then they label it as God, and it ends up just being a form of violence. And I'm like, Christians believe in, demonic and spiritual and satanic influence and all that kind of stuff. And there's all these different kinds of different interpretations and theologies that get wrapped up into there. But I'm wondering, like, if the zeitgeist of the age that captures human hearts and puts our faith in violence has something to do with what the Bible calls, those evil forces, the zeitgeist of human attention. And it just captures, you look at like how mobs can just get, with the witch hunts, and with the satanic panic of the 80s.
Yeah. And
then you get January 6th and mobs can just get taken over by like a mind that's not theirs. And then you can look back on something that you like did when I think I was like 8 years old, and me and my friends, all of our neighbors, like we just got almost like our neighbors decorated for Halloween. And the kid that lived there, he was rather effeminate, and so he kind of absorbed a lot of abuse because of that. And all of a sudden, like, all of us had this idea that we were going to go over there and totally trash all their decorations. And I'm 9 years old. Like, and I was like, yeah, we're doing this. And then all of a sudden I find myself in his yard tearing open those leaf bags that were like jack-o'-lantern printed and just scattering the leaves everywhere. And everybody's doing something. They're smashing the pumpkins on the sidewalk, and then we all run away. And I remember sitting down after that and being like, why did we do that? Like, what happened? I don't even know what I just got caught up in, like, we were all going to do. I can't even remember how we decided we were going to do this. But I felt so bad afterwards, like some kind of a spirit, zeitgeist, collective something, just I got caught up in it and I did some horrible things. That's something that like stuck with me. Like, I wonder if that has something to do with, what we label, as those forces of evil that are unseen and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know where I'm going with that, but there's a zeitgeist that captures our attention and causes us to do stupid stuff. And when it becomes national, when it becomes global, it's really, Christians need to be the ones to say, no, that's not what we do. They don't need to be the ones, but they absolutely have to be one of the leading voices. Like, that's what the person that we have faith in did. So I think we should emulate that.
Well, and I appreciate you sharing that story. I think that I can't remember if we talked about it last time, but I think in the, I guess maybe I was thinking about it listening to that podcast about the satanic panic and how
Devil in the Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Shout out to that show. That was fantastic. But the idea being that we as humans have to construct these stories about these evil forces, and there are always tunnels. I think we
talked about
everything bad happens in tunnels apparently.
Yeah.
But it's like we can't come to grips with the fact that every single human being is capable of doing horrific things, just within our biology, within our nature. And if you're in denial of that, you're not being real. I don't think you need a little bit more self-introspection. But we have to create these stories to explain it away. And it makes me think of I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this song, but there's a great, do you remember the band Jars of Clay? I was a big,
I was a huge fan.
I don't know if it's their last album. I don't believe they're a band anymore, but there's a tune called Good Monsters. And it essentially is getting at that point that we're all monsters. There's good ones and there's bad ones. And the problem is the good ones aren't doing enough. We're not doing enough to quell the bad ones. In being, I don't mean that in a alpha fight type way, but I think what the point is that you got to stand up and you have to speak to injustice and speak to truth and punch up, speak to power, and support those around you, because we're all monsters, and the good ones need to do their part. So
non-violently. Like, I always come back to that, because Christians can take those calls for change and whatnot and turn it into violence fast. And I'm not just talking about punch someone in the face, but to try and dominate and manipulate someone else is a form of violence. That's and like that is, Christians have a faith in that. If I can dominate, then I can set the world right. And it's like, that's not how it works. Like, there's no theology in the scriptures that state that. That's not a part of any of the mission of the apostles or Christ himself or any of the prophets. They're always calling us to look out for the widow, the orphan, the immigrant, and the poor. Those are I think Walter Brueggemann called them like the big four of the Old Testament. If we're not taking care of those, then hard times are coming. And it just seems like we're not taking care of those people. And in the Old Testament, those were the most vulnerable of society. Not just it's limited to those four, but in a patriarchal dominating society, those are the most vulnerable in that society. So we have to look at who are the most vulnerable in our society, and how can we care for them? How can we take care of them as the richest country in the world? What can we do to make sure that they are taken care of?